Imagine a charming law student with a disarming smile, cruising the streets in a Volkswagen Beetle, luring young women with tales of injury and pleas for help. This was Ted Bundy, the epitome of evil hidden behind a facade of normalcy. Born in 1946 in Vermont, Bundy's early life was shrouded in deception, raised believing his mother was his sister. As he grew, so did his dark urges. In the 1970s, he began his reign of terror across multiple states. Starting in Washington, he'd feign a broken arm, asking victims to help load items into his car, only to strike them unconscious with a crowbar. Bundy's method was calculated. He'd strangle, assault, and sometimes revisit the bodies for necrophilic acts. His victims, often college-aged brunettes resembling his ex-fiancée, numbered at least 30 confessed, but experts suspect more. The media dubbed him the Lady Killer, but beneath the charisma lurked a monster who reveled in control and domination. Bundy's killing spree escalated as he moved from Washington to Utah, then Colorado. In 1974, he abducted and murdered several women near Seattle, leaving bodies in remote forests. One survivor, Carol Durant, escaped after he impersonated a police officer and tried to handcuff her. This close call didn't deter him. Instead, he refined his tactics. By 1975, he was arrested in Utah for suspicious behavior, but evidence linked him to murders. He escaped twice, first from a courthouse window, then from jail, prolonging his horror. In Florida, he invaded a sorority house at Florida State University, bludgeoning 4 women in one night, killing 2. Bundy's intelligence shone in his escapes, but his arrogance led to mistakes. He drove a stolen car, got pulled over, and his charm failed him. As police pieced together dental records from bite marks on victims, the net tightened around this nomadic predator who crossed state lines to evade capture. What drove Bundy? Psychologists point to a fractured childhood and rejection. He once said, "I didn't know what made things tick. I didn't know what made people want to be friends." But his actions screamed sadism. He'd keep souvenirs, heads, jewelry from his kills, storing them in his apartment. In interviews, he spoke of possession, viewing victims as objects. His trial in 1979 became a spectacle. Bundy defended himself, turning the courtroom into a stage. Women flocked, mesmerized by his looks, even as gruesome details emerged: decapitations, post-mortem violations. He married a supporter during the trial, fathering a child. Sentenced to death, he confessed to 30 murders to delay execution, revealing dump sites. Bundy's case highlighted how serial killers blend into society, charming their way into trust. His story warns of the wolf in sheep's clothing, a theme echoed in true crime lore. Bundy's final days were marked by desperate appeals and revelations. From death row, he bargained information for time, admitting to murders in Idaho, California, and more. Investigators marveled at his memory, recounting details with eerie detachment. In 1989, as execution loomed, protests raged outside Florida State Prison, some cheering, others mourning the misunderstood man. Strapped to the electric chair, Bundy uttered no last words of remorse, only a nod to his lawyer. At 7:16 a.m. on January 24th, he was pronounced dead, ending a saga that captivated America. His ashes scattered in the Cascade Mountains, near early dump sites, a poetic, chilling close. Bundy's legacy? He inspired profiling techniques at the FBI, where agents like Robert Ressler interviewed him to understand psychopathy. Shows like Mindhunter draw from this, blending fact with drama to dissect the killer's mind. Beyond the kills, Bundy's influence permeates pop culture. Books like Anne Rule's The Stranger Beside Me, written by a former friend, expose his duality. Movies portray him as the handsome devil, Zac Efron embodying him in extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile. But victims' families remind us of the real horror. Lives cut short, like Linda Ann Healy, abducted from her basement bedroom. Bundy's case spurred changes in law enforcement, emphasizing interstate cooperation. Today, his Volkswagen Beetle sits in a museum, a relic of terror. As we delve into his psyche, remember the survivors who testified, their bravery piercing his facade. Bundy's story isn't just about evil, it's a cautionary tale of vigilance, urging us to question charm that masks malice. In the end, his execution brought closure, but the scars on society linger, fueling our fascination with the darkest human depths. Reflecting on Bundy, one can't ignore how he manipulated the system, even from behind bars. His interviews revealed a narcissist who blamed pornography and society, never himself. Experts debate nature versus nurture. Was he born evil or shaped by abandonment? Genetic studies post-mortem found no anomalies, pointing to environment. His mother's denial of paternity fueled rage. Bundy's tale teaches empathy's limits. Some souls are voids. In true crime communities, debates rage. Was he the smartest killer? Escapes suggest yes, but hubris caught him. As YouTube dives into unsolved cases, some link him to more victims, like the 1961 disappearance of Anne Marie Burr. Ultimately, Bundy's horror reminds us, monsters walk among us, disguised as everyman. Stay alert, question anomalies, for in his wake, safety protocols evolved, saving countless lives from similar predators lurking in shadows. Picture Milwaukee in the late 1980s. A quiet apartment building hiding unspeakable horrors. This was the domain of Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal, whose calm demeanor concealed a voracious appetite for death. Born in 1960 in Ohio, Dahmer's childhood hinted at darkness. Fascinated by animal bones, he dissected roadkill. By 18, he committed his first murder, bludgeoning hitchhiker Stephen Hicks after a sexual encounter gone wrong. Dahmer's pattern emerged, luring young men, often from gay bars, with promises of money or drinks. He'd drug them with sedatives in laced beverages, strangle them, then dismember and preserve parts. Cannibalism and necrophilia defined his crimes. He ate flesh to keep them with him forever. 17 victims, mostly minorities, fell prey between 1978 and 1991. Dahmer's story blends isolation with compulsion, a chilling dive into a mind where humanity dissolved into depravity. Dahmer's killings intensified after his army discharge and move to Milwaukee. In 1987, he murdered Stephen Tuomi in a hotel, waking to a corpse with no memory of the act. Alcohol-fueled blackouts masked his urges. He rented apartment 213, turning it into a slaughterhouse. Victims like Tony Hughes, a deaf aspiring model, were lured, drugged, and experimented on. Dahmer drilled into skulls, injecting acid or boiling water to create zombies, living sex slaves. Failures led to death and disposal. Bodies dissolved in acid barrels, skulls bleached and kept as trophies. Neighbors complained of foul odors and buzzing saws, but police dismissed it as domestic issues. One escapee, 14-year-old Konarak synthesome phone, was returned to Dahmer by officers who ignored his drugged state, mistaking it for a lover's quarrel. Hours later, the boy was dead, highlighting systemic failures that prolonged the nightmare. Dahmer's psyche? Abandoned by his mother, neglected amid parents' divorce, he craved control. "I trained myself to view people as objects of pleasure instead of people," he confessed. Loneliness drove him. Eating victims was intimacy's twisted form. His 1991 arrest came via Tracy Edwards, who escaped handcuffs and flagged police. Officers discovered photos of dismembered bodies, a head in the fridge, hearts in the freezer. The apartment yielded 11 victims. Remains. Dahmer's calm confession shocked. He detailed each kill, expressing remorse or manipulation. Trial in 1992 riveted the nation. Deemed sane, he got 15 life terms. Family's victim impact statements pierced the air. Errol Lindsay's sister screamed fury. Dahmer's case exposed racism in policing. Many victims were Black or Asian, ignored due to marginalized status. It's a stark reminder of overlooked communities in crime's shadow. In prison, Dahmer found religion, baptized in a whirlpool. But fate intervened. Inmate Christopher Scarver bludgeoned him to death in 1994 with a metal bar, claiming divine orders. Dahmer's brain was preserved for study, but a judge ordered its cremation amid ethical debates. His ashes divided between parents, symbolizing fractured roots. Legacy? He spurred FBI's focus on cannibalistic killers, influencing profiles. Netflix's Dahmer Monster series, starring Evan Peters, reignited interest, blending horror with social commentary. But critics decry glamorization, urging focus on victims like Ernest Miller, a dancer with dreams. Dahmer's tale warns of unchecked isolation. Early interventions might have stemmed his path. As true crime evolves, his story dissects the banality of evil, how an ordinary man became a devourer of souls. Diving deeper, Dahmer's experiments echoed Frankenstein, seeking eternal companionship through lobotomies. Failures haunted him, yet he persisted. Post-arrest, he aided police, sketching victims to aid identification. A rare cooperative killer. Books like The Jeffrey Dahmer Story by Don Davis chronicle the descent. Pop culture nods in songs, films, but victims' advocates push back, founding memorials. Milwaukee's Oxford apartments demolished, erasing the site but not memories. Dahmer's influence on psychology. Terms like disorganized killer fit his impulsive acts, yet organization shone in cleanup. Debates rage, was he monster or mentally ill? Insanity plea failed, but bipolar hints surfaced. His narrative urges mental health awareness. Ignored cries for help breed tragedy. In YouTube's crime sphere, recreations grip viewers, blending facts with eerie visuals to honor the lost while exposing the beast. Ultimately, Dahmer's horror underscores societal blind spots. Police returned a victim to him, systemic bias at play. Reforms followed. Better training on LGBTQ+ issues, minority protections. His interviews revealed detachment. It was like a compulsion. I couldn't stop. Nature? Nurture? Brain scans showed abnormalities, fueling debates. As ashes scattered, closure eluded families. True crime pods dissect alibis, but remember Oliver Lacey, last victim, whose escape attempt failed. Dahmer's saga teaches vigilance. Report suspicions, support the vulnerable. In a world of hidden predators, his story is a beacon, educating on red flags like isolation, animal cruelty. YouTube trends amplify this, with immersive narratives keeping audiences hooked on justice's pursuit. Dahmer's end? A violent echo of his deeds, proving evil's cycle. But humanity's resilience shines through survivors' stories. Step into 1970s Chicago suburbs, where a jovial clown entertained kids at parties, hiding a graveyard beneath his home. This was John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, whose double life shocked the world. Born in 1942, Gacy endured an abusive father who mocked his weight and sexuality. Managing KFC outlets, he projected success, married twice, active in community. But darkness brewed. Sodomy conviction in 1968 for assaulting a teen. Paroled, he remarried, bought 8213 Summerdale Avenue. From 1972 to 1978, he murdered 33 young men and boys, luring them with job promises at his construction firm. He'd handcuff them in magic tricks, strangle with rope or board, assault post-mortem. Bodies crammed in crawl space, some in Des Plaines River when space ran out. Gacy's charm disarmed. Neighbors smelled decay, but accepted his sewer excuses. A tale of hidden rot in America's heartland. Gacy's spree targeted drifters, runaways, easy prey. Victim Robert Peist, 15, vanished after meeting Gacy for a job. This sparked investigation. Police surveilled, noting odd behavior. Searching his home, they found class rings, handcuffs, not his. Second search unearthed the horrors. 26 bodies in crawl space, decomposed in lime. Gacy confessed casually over breakfast, drawing maps. "I should have been convicted of running a cemetery without a license," he joked. Methods varied, some drugged, others overpowered. He kept wallets, IDs as trophies. Divorced by then, his ex-wife recalled strange odors, dismissed. Gacy's Pogo the Clown persona, performed at hospitals, added irony, evil in grease paint. Arrest in 1978 ended the nightmare, but families grappled with unidentified remains. DNA later ID'd more, closing wounds. Gacy's story exposes how predators exploit trust in everyday roles. Psychologically, Gacy embodied dissociation. Jack the killer, John the citizen. He blamed victims, calling them worthless. Childhood trauma, beatings, head injuries, perhaps fueled split personality. Trial in 1980 was circus-like. Insanity plea featured experts debating multiple personalities. Jury rejected, convicting him in hours. Death sentence for 12 murders, pre-1977 Illinois law. On death row, he painted clowns, sold for thousands, profiting from infamy. Executed May 10, 1994, by lethal injection. His last words, "Kiss my ass." Brain autopsied, no abnormalities found. Legacy? Inspired It clown horrors, but real terror lingers. Films like Gacy depict the duality. Victims like Timothy McCoy, First Kill, remind of lost potential. Gacy's case pushed for better missing persons protocols, highlighting overlooked youth in society's fringes. Gacy's home demolished, lot now empty, a void mirroring his soul. Artworks burned by some owners, cursed relics. In prison, he denied remorse, claiming self-defense. Interviews revealed narcissism. "I'm the real victim." Books like Buried Dreams probe his mind. Pop culture echoes an American horror story, blending fact with fiction. But advocates focus on survivors. One escaped after Gacy tired. His story warns of charismatic facades. Community pillars can harbor evil. Chicago's gay community, hit hard, gained visibility in victim advocacy. As true crime surges, YouTube recreates searches, crawl space horrors with tense narration. Gacy's influence on forensics, soil analysis from bodies aided IDs. Debates on capital punishment flared and execution. Protest outside. His end brought justice, but questions linger. How many more hid bodies? Vigilance key in his chilling wake. Delving into Gacy's methods, the rope trick was signature. Tourniquet around neck, twisting till death. He'd quote Bible verses during acts. Twisted piety. Early signs. Molesting boys in Iowa, yet paroled swiftly. Post-divorce. Freedom unleashed. Police missed clues. Prior conviction ignored. 1990s exhumations. ID'd more via DNA, tech advancing closure. Gacy's paintings, clowns, Disney, fetch high prices, ethicists decry. Series like Conversations with a Killer use tapes. His voice, chilling audiences. Victims' families formed support groups, turning pain to purpose. Gacy's tale dissects evil's banality. Ordinary man, extraordinary crimes. In YouTube's grip, slow build suspense mirrors investigations, hooking viewers on revelations. His legacy? Enhanced background checks for community roles, protecting kids from hidden predators in plain sight. Reflecting, Gacy's horror underscores ignored red flags, complaints dismissed, victims marginalized. Reforms, Illinois tightened parole for sex offenders. Brain studies post-mortem fueled psychopathy research. No evil gene, but trauma's role clear. As ashes scattered, no grave marks his end. True crime pods debate accomplices, none proven. Remember John Butkovich, employee turned victim, sparking patterns. Gacy's story teaches empathy for the vulnerable. Report anomalies. In a facade-filled world, his duality warns, question the jovial, probe the peculiar. YouTube trends amplify with immersive visuals, keeping justice alive. Ultimately, Gacy's execution symbolized triumph over terror, but scars endure, fueling our quest to understand and prevent the monsters among us. In the shadows of Soviet Russia, amid Rostov's forests, lurked Andrei Chikatilo, the Butcher of Rostov, whose 12-year spree claimed over 50 lives. Born in 1936 Ukraine, during famine, Chikatilo witnessed cannibalism horrors, shaping his psyche. Impotent, mocked by family, he turned to violence for arousal. Teaching career masked urges. First murder, 1978. 9-year-old Lena Zakotnova, lured, stabbed in sexual frenzy. He targeted children, runaways at train stations, promising candy or rides. Methods brutal. Stabbing eyes to extinguish life. Mutilation. Cannibalism. Bodies left in woods, some with removed genitals. Soviet denial delayed justice. Murders blamed on hooligans. Chikatilo's unassuming look, glasses, briefcase, let him blend as a family man. His tale weaves oppression with depravity, a grim chapter in Cold War crime annals. Chikatilo's killings peaked in 1980s, roaming Ukraine, Russia. Victim Sveta Koristik, 13, beheaded after assault. He confessed 56 murders, but convicted of 52. Impotence drove knives as substitutes. Arrested 1984 for suspicious behavior. Released due to blood-type mismatch. Semen differed. Rare condition. Freed. He killed 19 more. Police set traps at stations. In 1990, spotted with bloodstains after killing Sveta Vartanyan. Home search yielded knives, ropes. Confession poured out. Detailed maps to bodies. Trial, 1992. In cage. To prevent lynching, spectators hurled insults. Deemed sane, despite pleas. Sentenced to death. Executed, 1994, by gunshot. Chikatilo's case exposed Soviet investigative flaws. No computers. Reliance on confessions. It's a stark look at unchecked evil. Psychologically, Chikatilo blamed childhood, mother's tales of eaten brother, wartime traumas. I felt like a beast, he said. Sadism linked to humiliation. Erections only from violence. Books like The Killer Department chronicle the hunt. Film Citizen X dramatizes Stephen Rea as detective. Victims mostly kids, like 7-year-old Igor Gudkov, symbolizing innocence lost. Chikatilo's wife oblivious, providing alibis unwittingly. Legacy? Post-Soviet Russia improved forensics, adopting Western methods. His story highlights how totalitarianism stifled probes, murders hidden to preserve paradise image. In true crime, his mutilations shock, drawing parallels to Jack the Ripper. Debates on nature, born killer or made. Head injuries noted, but no excuse. Chikatilo's narrative warns of ignored signs in rigid systems, urging open investigations. Chikatilo's final days. Appeals denied. He wrote rambling letters claiming innocence. Then confessed more. Execution swift. Body cremated anonymously. No grave, erasing his mark. Influence on culture. Russian films explore the era's darkness. Victims' memorials in Rostov woods honor the forgotten. Police lead Viktor Burakov endured breakdowns, chasing him. Hero in shadows. Chikatilo's case spurred international cooperation. FBI consulted on profiles. As YouTube delves, tense recreations of stakeouts grip viewers. His tale dissects isolation's toll. Rural vastness hid horrors. Reforms, better child protections, station surveillance. In a post-Cold War lens, it's a reminder of human rights in justice systems. Chikatilo's end brought relief, but questions linger. How many unsolved? Vigilance eternal against such beasts. Deeper, Chikatilo's methods evolved. Early kills impulsive, later ritualistic. Biting tongues, uteruses removed. Symbolism, power over life. Interrogations revealed detachment. Victims, objects. Books detail forensic breakthroughs. Despite mismatches, persistence paid. Pop culture nods in Child 44. Fictionalized, but inspired. Family's pain. Many unidentified, till DNA. Chikatilo's son, changed name, shunning legacy. Psychological studies cite him in sadism research. In YouTube's realm, slow burn narratives build suspense from first kill to capture, hooking on revelations. His story teaches resilience. Burakov's dedication triumphed. Amid Soviet collapse, his trial symbolized old regime's fall. Ultimately, Chikatilo's horror fuels education on predator patterns, saving futures from similar fates. Reflecting, Chikatilo's spree underscores systemic failures. Innocent executed in his stead. Reforms post-trial, modernized policing. Brain examined, abnormalities found, fueling debates. As dust settled, survivors' tales emerged, piercing silence. Remember Olga Kuprina, teen victim, dreams shattered. Chikatilo's narrative urges global awareness. Evil transcends borders. In true crime communities, analyses dissect alibis, methods. YouTube trends with immersive docs keep audiences engaged, blending facts with eerie atmospheres. His execution closed a chapter, but legacy warns. Question the ordinary. Protect the vulnerable. In humanity's dark mirror, Chikatilo reflects our capacity for monstrosity and the light of justice prevailing in Wichita's quiet suburbs. A church-going family man orchestrated terror as the BTK Killer. Bind, torture, kill. Dennis Rader, born 1945, seemed ideal. Air Force vet, compliance officer, Boy Scout leader. But from 1974 to 1991, he murdered 10, taunting police with letters. First victims, Otero family, Joseph, Julie, kids strangled in home. Raiders fantasy-driven. Bound victims, asphyxiated for arousal, took souvenirs. He'd stalk, break in, wait. Letters to media detailed crimes. Signed BTK. Hiatuses fooled authorities. He installed alarms for others while plotting. Arrested 2005 after resuming taunts via floppy disk traced to his church computer. Rader's duality stunned. Pillar by day, predator by night. His story blends suburbia's facade with chilling calculation. A staple in American true crime. Rader's spree included Vicky Wegerly. Strangled 1986. Ruled heart attack till DNA linked. He posed bodies, photographed as trophies. Project Cookie, code for plans. Letters boasted. How many do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper? Police formed task force, but he evaded. Post-1991, he lurked, family oblivious. 2004, resumed contact, celebrating 30th anniversary. Sending doll, mimicking victim. Disc metadata, Christ Lutheran Church. His presidency led to arrest. DNA from daughter confirmed. Confession hours detailing kills, emotionless. Pleaded guilty, life sentences. No death penalty in Kansas then. Rader's case highlighted tech's role in cold cases. Floppy error undid him. It's a tale of patience. Hunter and hunted, in cat and mouse, over decades. Psychologically, Rader cited Factor X. Demonic drive from childhood animal torture. Bondage fantasies fueled acts. I had a demon inside, he claimed. Books like Bind, Torture, Kill use his words. Netflix's Mindhunter draws from interviews. Victims like Nancy Fox, strangled 1977, remembered for bravery. Wife Paula divorced post-arrest, shattered. Legacy? Enhanced cyber forensics. Taunts now traced swiftly. Rader's story exposes hidden lives, how killers compartmentalize. In true crime, his letters chill, echoing Zodiac. Debates, rehabilitable? No remorse shown. Head scans normal, pointing to choice over illness. Rader's narrative warns of everyday evil. Neighbors missed signs like odd behavior. Vigilance in communities, key to prevention. In prison, Raider writes poetry, complains of treatment, narcissism intact. Appeals denied. He'll die behind bars. Home demolished, erasing sight. Influence. BTK docuseries recreate taunts with tension. Survivors like Charlie Otero advocate for victims. Raider's case spurred DNA databases, solving olds. As YouTube explores, slow reveals of letters hook viewers. His tale dissects obsession, projects named after cookies, pies, mundane masking macabre. Reforms, better media handling of killer comms. In a digital age, his floppy folly teaches caution. Raider's end? Justice served. But pain lingers for families seeking closure amid his boasts. Deeper, Raider's methods, death kits with ropes, planned meticulously, posed as detective for entry. Interrogations revealed detachment, victims, projects. Books detail forensic wins, semen on letters. Pop culture in the Clove Hitch Killer, inspired films. Daughter Carrie's memoir exposes family fallout. Psychological profiles cite him in organized killers. In YouTube's grip, timeline builds suspense from first kill to disc slip. His story teaches tech double edge, aids crime, solves it. Amid normalcy, red flags like control issues warn. Raider's legacy fuels education on stalking signs, empowering potential victims. Reflecting, Raider's horror underscores taunting psychology, need for notoriety. Reforms, task forces for serials standardized. Brain studies ongoing, no answers yet. As time passes, new gens learn via pods. Remember, Marine Hedge, neighbor victim, betrayal deep. Raider's narrative urges awareness. Question anomalies in trusted figures. YouTube trends with immersive confessions keep engaged, blending facts with drama. His capture symbolizes tech triumph over terror. But vigilance eternal. In humanity's shadows, Raider reminds, evil hides in plain sight, but truth illuminates. Envision the misty Pacific Northwest in the 1980s, where prostitutes vanished along the Green River, their bodies dumped in woods and rivers. This was the hunting ground of Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, who claimed at least 49 lives, but confessed to 71. Born in 1949 in Utah, Ridgway endured a domineering mother and abusive father, fueling his rage toward women. A truck painter by day, he married multiple times, projecting normalcy. His spree began in 1982, targeting sex workers. Easy prey he strangled in his truck or nearby, returning to bodies for necrophilia. "I hate most prostitutes," he said, viewing them as disposable. Ridgway's method was simple yet brutal. He'd choke them unconscious, then finish the job. Bodies surfaced in clusters, sparking fear in Seattle. His story unfolds as a chilling chronicle of unchecked misogyny in America's underbelly, where a quiet man became a prolific reaper. Ridgway's killings spanned over 20 years, evading capture through low profile and lies. Victim Marcia Chapman, strangled 1983, was one of many dumped in the river. He revisited sites, posing bodies for photos, trophies of dominance. Police formed a task force in 1983, but early suspects cleared him. Ridgway passed polygraphs, charming detectives. I picked prostitutes because I thought I could kill as many of them as I wanted without getting caught, he later admitted. Arrested 2001 on minor charges. DNA from saliva on victims linked him. Advances in tech undid his luck. Confession followed. Days of detailing kills, emotionless, bargaining for death sentence to avoid life. Pleaded guilty to 48 murders, sentenced to life without parole. Ridgway's case exposed flaws in early profiling. His ordinariness fooled all. It's a tense saga of persistence versus evasion in the rain-soaked shadows. What twisted Ridgway? Childhood bedwetting punishments, mother's fixation, psychologists cite paraphilias. The numbers didn't mean nothing to me, he confessed, showing detachment. Books like The Riverman by Robert Keppel use his words. Netflix's Catching Killers dramatizes the hunt. Victims like Rebecca Garde, 17, remind of stolen futures. Runaways seeking escape. Wife Judith, divorced post-arrest. Horrified. Legacy? Revolutionized DNA use in cold cases. Thousands solved via genealogy. Ridgway's story highlights sex worker marginalization. Many cases ignored initially. In true crime lore, his body count rivals Bundy's, but remorse absent, only regret for getting caught. Debates rage. Was he organized or disorganized? Methodical dumps suggest control. Ridgway's narrative warns of everyday predators. Truck stops, now hotspots for awareness campaigns, urging protection for the vulnerable. In prison, Ridgway paints landscapes, claims Bible study, rehabilitation facade. Appeals denied. He rots in Washington State Penitentiary. Holmes searched, yielded little. Minimal evidence from caution. Influence. Green River docuseries recreate timelines with gripping reenactments. Survivors like Kelly McGinnis, who escaped his grasp, share harrowing tales. Ridgway's case spurred victim advocacy groups, honoring the lost with memorials along the river. As YouTube delves deep, slow burn narratives build from first disappearance to DNA breakthrough, hooking viewers on forensic twists. His tale dissects serial evolution. Hiatuses during marriages hid horrors. Reforms, better outreach to at-risk women, sting operations. In a digital era, his capture symbolizes science's triumph over savagery. Ridgway's end? Endless days behind bars. A fitting cage for the man who treated lives as trash. Delving into methods, Ridgway used bare hands or ligatures, driving victims to remote spots. "I'd talk to them, make them feel safe," he said. Deception key. Interrogations revealed patterns, killing in bursts, then calm. Books detail task force struggles, frustration palpable. Pop culture in the Hunt for the Green River Killer miniseries blends fact with suspense. Families pushed for identifications. Some remains unidentified till confessions. Psychological profiles label him classic lust killer, misogyny core. In YouTube's realm, expert breakdowns of dump sites immerse audiences in geography of terror. His story teaches resilience. Detectives' doggedness prevailed. Amid normalcy, signs like violence history warn. Early arrests for soliciting missed. Ridgway's legacy fuels education on profiling accuracy, empowering law enforcement against similar ghosts haunting highways. Reflecting, Ridgway's horror underscores societal neglect. Sex workers' pleas dismissed. Reforms. Washington enhanced cold case units. DNA mandates. Brain studies post-capture show no anomalies. Choice over destiny. As years pass, new victims linked via tech. Remember Gail Matthews, body in paint truck. Irony deep. Ridgway's narrative urges empathy. Humanize the marginalized to catch killers sooner. In true crime communities, analyses dissect alibis, kill kits, YouTube trends with atmospheric visuals. Keep engaged, blending chills with closure. His confession closed chapters, but pain endures for families seeking peace. Ultimately, Ridgway's saga reminds, evil thrives in indifference, but vigilance and science illuminate paths to justice, preventing shadows from claiming more souls. Journey to early 20th century New York, where a mild-mannered house painter preached religion while devouring children. Albert Fish, the Gray Man, or Brooklyn Vampire, embodied depravity's depths. Born 1870 in Washington, D.C., orphaned young, he entered an orphanage rife with abuse, beatings, forced enemas, shaping his masochism into sadism. By adulthood, he married, fathered 6, but urges escalated. Self-flagellation, coprophilia. First known murder, 1924. 8-year-old Frances McDonnell, lured to woods, castrated, eaten. Fish targeted poor families, posing as welfare worker. Methods horrific. Needles in pelvis, X-rayed for thrill. Cannibalism rituals. Confessed to 3 murders, suspected in 100. His letters, taunting, poetic, detailed feasts. It was as sweet as a veal cutlet. Fish's story is a grotesque tapestry of perversion in America's underclass, where a grandfatherly facade masked a monster's hunger. Fish's spree included Grace Budd, 10, abducted 1928 from her home after job promise to brother. He cooked her, sent letter to parents describing tenderloin. Police traced via stationery. Arrested 1934 in hotel. Calm as they found 29 needles in groin. Confession. Hours recounting kills, including Billy Gaffney, 4, whose ears he ate. I like children. They are tender, he said. Trial 1935. Riveted. Insanity plea with psychiatrists debating voices, religious delusions. Jury convicted, deeming sane. Sentenced to death, he welcomed it. Going to the chair is a joy. executed January 16, 1936, at Sing Sing. Last words praising electrocution. Fish's case shocked with cannibal details. Autopsies confirmed habits. It's a dark dive into unchecked mental illness in pre-psychiatry eras, where evil feasted freely. Psychologically, Fish blamed orphanage tortures. I will never tell what happened there. Cotard syndrome? He thought himself Christ crucified. Books like Deranged by John Gilmore chronicle horrors. Film The Gray Man dramatizes abductions. Victims like Grace symbolized innocence devoured. Her brother's guilt, lifelong. Family disowned him post-arrest. Legacy? Influenced child protection laws. Welfare checks now scrutinized. Fish's story exposes early forensics limits. No DNA. Reliance on confessions. In true crime, his letters chill, echoing modern taunters. Debates, monster or madman. Voices claimed divine commands. Head scans impossible then, but behaviors scream paraphilia cluster. Fish's narrative warns of generational trauma. Abusers birth abusers. Vigilance for at-risk kids, key in his eerie legacy. Fish's final days. Rants of martyrdom. Bible quotes twisted. Execution watched by 400. Body cremated. No grave. Ashes scattered. Influence. Albert Fish docs recreate letters with voiceovers, gripping audiences. Survivors? None from kills, but whistleblowers aided capture. Fish's case spurred psychiatric reforms in prisons. As YouTube explores, tense narrations build from orphanage to electric chair. His tale dissects cannibalism psychology, power, taboo, reforms, better, orphan oversight, stranger danger, education. In a modern lens, it's a reminder of hidden perversions in polite society. Fish's end brought closure to Bud family. Reading letter in court. Catharsis amid horror. Ultimately, his saga fuels fascination with the grotesque, urging empathy for the overlooked. Deeper, Fish's methods, boiler stews, roasts with onions. He advertised in papers for victims. Interrogations revealed 400+ sex acts with boys, unpunished. Books detail X-rays, needles for pain ecstasy. Pop culture in horror hospital. Inspired tales. Grandchildren changed names. Haunted. Psychological studies cite him in necrophilia research. In YouTube's grip, timelines from 1890s abuses to 1930s trial immerse with archival footage. His story teaches detection. Report odd behaviors. Protect young. Amid normalcy, signs like religious fervor warn. Fish's legacy empowers forensic psychology, dissecting delusions to prevent repeats. His confession closed loops, but revulsion lingers for families scarred eternally. Reflecting, Fish's horror underscores institutional failures. Orphanages breeding evil. Reforms, child welfare acts post-trial. Brain autopsied? No, but delusions studied. As decades pass, new links to unsolveds speculated. Remember Edward Budd, whose trust lured sister. Betrayal profound. Fish's narrative urges awareness. Predators in plain sight. In true crime pods, letter readings evoke chills. YouTube trends with psychological deep dives keep hooked, blending facts with analysis. His execution symbolized justice's spark against darkness. But shadows persist. Ultimately, Fish reminds humanity's depths plumbed, yet light of law endures, safeguarding innocence from such voracious voids. In rural Wisconsin's isolation, a reclusive farmer raided graves and butchered locals, crafting horrors from human parts. Ed Gein, inspiration for Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, blurred fiction and fact. Born 1906 in La Crosse, raised by devout Mother Augusta, Bible-thumping, anti-woman after father's death. Brother Henry died mysteriously, 1944, fire-blamed. Alone, post-1945, Gein lived in squalor, grave-robbing Plainfield Cemetery for experiments. 1957 murder, hardware store owner Bernice Warden, shot, decapitated, body posed. Search revealed lampshades, masks from skin, shrunken heads, organs in pots. Confessed to one murder, suspected in 1940s killings like Mary Hogan. Gein's edible fixation, mother's corpse exhumed, preserved, drove necrophilia, cannibalism hints. His story is a macabre Midwestern Gothic where Gein's crimes unearthed in 1957. Warden's body gutted like deer, hung in shed. House a nightmare. Waist-deep junk, masks from faces. Confession. She came to me. They wouldn't let me. Killed Hogan 1954 similarly. Grave robbing 40-plus bodies for suits, aprons. Wanting to crawl inside, women like mother. Insanity trial 1968. Found not guilty by reason. Committed to hospital. Died 1984 of cancer, buried in Plainfield. Grave robbed ironically. House burned 1958 by arsonists. Gein's case shocked with trophies. FBI cataloged horrors. It's a chilling expose of rural secrecy, where whispers hid atrocities, till a missing woman sparked the raid. Tension built as deputies navigated filth to horrors unimaginable. Psychologically, Gein embodied split. Eddie the killer, Ed the neighborly oddball. Mother's sermons, women are devils, internalized. Schizophrenia diagnosed, delusions of resurrection. Books like Deviant by Harold Schechter delve deep. Film Ed Gein stars Steve Railsback. Victims like Warden, mother of deputy, added personal sting. No family left. Brother's death suspicious. Gein implicated. Legacy inspired horror genre. Norman Bates from his psyche. Gein's story highlights mental health neglect. Rural isolation amplified madness. In true crime, his crafts shock, drawing Ripper parallels. Debates. Capable of more murders? Evidence suggests yes. Head injuries from fall noted. Gein's narrative warns of unchecked eccentricity. Report grave disturbances. Probe loners. His saga fuels fascination with the macabre mind. Gein's hospital years. Quiet, sewing hobbies. Reformed? Releases denied. Autopsy revealed no brain anomalies, but trauma clear. Influence. Wisconsin's cannibal docs recreate farm raid with eerie sounds. No direct survivors, but town traumatized. Cemetery gates locked. Gein's case spurred commitment laws for insane killers. As YouTube narrates, slow pans over imagined artifacts build dread. His tale dissects mommy issues extreme. Freudian nightmare realized. Reforms. Better rural policing. Mental screenings. In hindsight, neighbors' unease ignored. Odors, rumors dismissed. Gein's end brought quiet closure. Body returned for burial, under watch. Ultimately, his legacy warns. Darkness festers in forgotten corners, demanding light of intervention. Deeper, Gein's methods. Exhuming favorites, sewing woman suit for dance. Just like Mama, he said. Interrogations, childlike, detached from acts. Books detail trophy lists, nipple belt, skull bowls. Pop culture in Psycho, Hitchcock's nod to real evil. Relatives shun spotlight. Psychological profiles cite him in transvestic fetishism. In YouTube's realm, forensic recreations of House grip with detail overload. His story teaches vigilance. Odd behaviors escalate. Amid farms, signs like animal killings warn. Gein-skinned cats. Legacy empowers cultural analysis of horror roots. Confession pieced puzzle, but mysteries linger on brother. Gein's horror educates on pathology, preventing isolation's toll. Reflecting, Gein's spree underscores family dysfunction's dangers. Reforms, Wisconsin mental health funding post-case. Studies show environmental factors dominant. As lore grows, tourist spots mark sites morbid draw. Remember Frank Warden, whose search unveiled hell. Gein's narrative urges community watch, break rural silences. In true crime communities, artifact discussions thrill. YouTube trends with immersive farm walkthroughs keep audiences riveted. His death closed an era, but inspiration endures in films. Ultimately, Gein reminds, monsters born of neglect, but awareness slays them. Honoring victims in fiction's shadows. Terror gripped 1980s Los Angeles as pentagrams and avenged sevenfold scrawled at crime scenes marked the Night Stalker's path. Richard Ramirez, born 1960 in Texas, endured epileptic seizures. Cousins' Vietnam War stories glamorizing violence. By teens, burglary, drugs. First kill, 1984. Jenny Vincow. Throat slashed in sleep. Spree escalated. 13 murders, 5 attempted, 50+ burglaries. Targeted homes at night, shooting, stabbing, assaulting. Satanic flair with inverted crosses. Victims diverse, elderly, couples like Vincent Zazzara, eyes gouged. "I am Lucifer," he taunted in court. Captured 1985 by mob after sketch ID. Ramirez's charisma shone in smiles to cameras. His story pulses with satanic panic era's frenzy, a drifter's descent into ritualistic rampage across sun-baked streets. Ramirez's attacks, random, yet patterned. Hot prowl entries, valuables stolen. Victim Deo Yoshi Okazaki, shot, 1985. Boyfriend wounded. Survived to ID. Escaped. Killed Tsai Lian Yang family. Police linked via shoe prints, fingerprints. Media frenzy, dubbed Night Stalker. Sketches circulated. July 20th, 1985. Spotted in East LA. Beaten by crowd till cops intervened. Broken bones. Confession. Bragged of kills. Satan pacts. Trial, 1989. Delays, outbursts. Death always went with the territory. Convicted 13 murders, death sentences. Died 2013 of lymphoma, no execution. Ramirez's case highlighted media's role in manhunts. Fear paralyzed LA. It's a high-octane tale of urban paranoia, where a drifter became the devil incarnate under summer moons. Psychologically, Ramirez cited cousin Miguel's murders as trigger, witnessed wife killing at 13. Drugs, head injuries fueled psychosis. Evil stays in the bloodline, family said. Books, like The Night Stalker by Philip Carlo, use interviews. Netflix's Night Stalker series grips with recreations. Victims like Maxine Zazzara, mutilated post-mortem, evoke brutality. Wife Doreen married him in jail, tattooed pentagrams. Legacy? Boosted home security, alarm sales. Ramirez's story taps satanic fears, though more thrill-kill. In true crime, his taunts echo, inspiring copycats. Debates, mentally ill or evil. No remorse, only pride. Brain tumors suspected. Ramirez's narrative warns of glamorized violence. Media's caution now standard. His saga dissects charisma's dark side in fame-hungry killers. In prison, Ramirez drew, professed love, cult following. Appeals endless, died awaiting chamber. Body cremated, ashes to family. Influence, Night Stalker docs use survivor testimonies for raw emotion. Escapees like Roberto Hernandez detailed terror. Ramirez's case reformed eyewitness protocols, sketches pivotal. As YouTube dives, timeline montages build suspense, from first slash to mob capture. His tale explores rituals psychology, power symbols, reforms, better lighting, neighborhood watches in LA. In retrospect, early arrests for cars ignored. Ramirez's end spared execution debate, but justice felt incomplete. Ultimately, his legacy cautions against vigilante justice, balancing fear with due process in chaotic hunts. Deeper, Ramirez's methods, AC/DC hat, pentagram carvings, showmanship. Hail Satan, courtroom cries. Interrogations, boasted body count, high on power. Books detail forensic links, Avia shoes unique. Pop culture in true detective nods. Sister Ruthie exposed family secrets, psychological profiles, antisocial with delusions. In YouTube's grip, crime scene walkthroughs immerse with graphic warnings. His story teaches profiling, patterns in chaos. Amid suburbs, signs like burglary rings warn. Legacy fuels satanic panic retrospectives, debunking myths. Confession unraveled spree, but some attacks unsolved. Ramirez's horror educates on trauma's ripple, from war vet to devil's disciple. Reflecting, Ramirez's terror underscores media amplification's double edge. Reforms. California enhanced DNA in burglaries. Studies link epilepsy to aggression. As myths fade, survivor books emerge. Remember Carol Smith. Attacked but lived. Resilience shines. Ramirez's narrative urges anti-violence education in youth. In True Crime Pods, satanic analyses intrigue. YouTube trends with era footage keep hooked, blending 80s vibe with facts. His death, closed book, but fear's echo lingers. Ultimately, Night Stalker reminds, darkness draws from wounds, but community light expels it. Honoring the brave who fought back. In Chicago's 1893 World's Fair bustle, a charming doctor built the Murder Castle, a hotel of horrors with trapdoors, gas chambers. H. Holmes, born Herman Mudgett, 1861 in New Hampshire, early dissected animals, insured cadavers for fraud. Moved to Chicago, 1886, bought pharmacy, built 3-story labyrinth, soundproof vaults, acid vats, crematorium, lured victims, job seekers, fairgoers with cheap rooms. Methods: suffocation, poison, dissection alive. Confessed 27 murders, suspected 200. Body parts sold to med schools, insurance scams intertwined. Holmes's suave demeanor hid sociopathy. His story is a Victorian thriller of industrial age evil, where progress masked a serial entrepreneur of death amid exposition crowds. Holmes's empire. Holmes Castle at 63rd and Wallace. 100 rooms. Secret passages. Victim Julia Connor. Assistant. Suffocated for insurance. Daughter Pearl, gassed. Benjamin Pitezel, partner. Killed 1894. For scam. Dismembered, skeleton posed. Cross-country spree. Killed Pitezel's kids in Toronto hotel. Arrested 1895 in Boston for fraud. Confession followed torture threats. Trial 1895. Convicted Pitezel murder. Hanged May 7th. 1896. Last words, cursed prosecutors. I was born with the devil in me, he wrote. Holmes's case captivated with castle details. Demolished post-fire. It's a labyrinthine saga of deception, where architecture enabled atrocities during America's Gilded Age. Psychologically, Holmes embodied narcissism. I could make any woman fall in love. Childhood bullying, medical school frauds hinted darkness. Books like The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson interweave fair history. Film Holmes and Watson fictionalizes but docs honor facts. Victims like Emmeline Sigrand, fiancé, vanished, bones found. Multiple wives, bigamy. Legacy, inspired forensic architecture analysis. Buildings now scrutinized. Holmes's story highlights World's Fair's underbelly. Transient crowds, easy prey. In true crime, his gadgets fascinate. Proto-serial blueprint. Debates, exaggerated confessions for fame. Evidence suggests prolific. No mental illness plea, pure calculation. Holmes's narrative warns of charismatic cons. Verify credentials in booming eras. Holmes's final days. Appeals, ghostwriting memoirs denying most. Execution, neck snapped cleanly, body encased in concrete. Grave robbery fears. Ashes scattered. Influence, H. Holmes series recreate castle blueprints with 3D models. Survivors like Ned Connor exposed scams. Holmes's case spurred insurance reforms, anti-fraud laws. As YouTube explores, virtual tours build immersion in traps. His tale dissects ambition's evil, castle as business. Reforms. Hotel safety standards post-exposure. In hindsight, neighbors ignored screams, progress blinded. Holmes's end satisfied crowds, but myths grew. Ultimately, his legacy cautions against unchecked innovation, blending awe with atrocity's shadow. Deeper, Holmes's methods: elastic walls for crushing, lime pits for dissolution. I invented the death hotel, boasted. Interrogations, detailed accomplices, but solo core. Books map victim timelines, fair peak. Pop culture in American Horror Story, Hotel, Echoes. Daughter, denied heritage. Psychological profiles, psychopathic genius. In YouTube's realm, blueprint breakdowns grip with engineering twists. His story teaches detection. Report disappearances swiftly. Amid expos, signs like odd constructions warn. Legacy fuels true crime architecture niche. Confession pieced empire, but count disputed. Holmes's horror educates on era's lawlessness, from patent meds to body trade. Reflecting, Holmes's castle underscores opportunity in chaos. Reforms, Chicago building codes tightened. Studies show no genetic links, nurture in fraud family. As legends persist, dig sites sought remains. Remember, Alice and Nellie Petezel, kids lured to doom, innocence crushed. Holmes's narrative urges skepticism, charm conceals. In true crime communities, gadget recreations thrill. YouTube trends with historical overlays keep engaged, merging past with present. His hanging marked justice's gavel, but fascination endures. Ultimately, H. Holmes reminds, progress's dark side lurks, but history's lens exposes, preventing repeats in modern mazes.